Solar PV generated electricity is one of the cheapest sources of renewable energy. On-site solar PV systems can help reduce the cost of energy for a business. It can also help mitigate greenhouse gas emissions. However, to capture all of the benefits of your PV system has to offer requires continuous monitoring, a little maintenance and some rethinking of operational schedules for equipment. In this video, we'll look at how to check performance, some simple maintenance tasks, and how to squeeze a better financial return from your system. Whilst undertaking numerous dairy farm energy audits, AgVet projects have identified up to 50% of solar systems were not performing as intended. In fact, some had stopped working entirely and the owners didn't know it. Here are a few simple ways to check whether your system is performing as expected. Check if your system is operating. Do this by seeing if the lights are on and the electricity is being generated. Check for faults. Different systems display faults in various ways. Red lights or fault and error alarms on the screen. Check your bills to see if exports are being reported. Compare electricity production with the same period last year. The longer the periods, the better the comparison will be. For example, this system will compare the whole of 2023 with the whole of 2022. The production in 2023 was 96% of that in 2022. The decline is 4%. If there is more than about 10% decline in production, there may be a problem and further investigation is required. This highlights the importance and value of having access to monitoring software for your solar PV system. Your solar PV system is like most other equipment. It requires regular maintenance to get the best out of it. Dirty panels will reduce the performance of your PV system. For example, this panel may have bird droppings. It has got mildew or moss growth. Not only will the panel's performance be reduced, the output from this one panel will reduce the performance of the whole string or row of panels. Using a brush or broom with soft bristles and warm soapy water to clean the panels will assist. Rain can help keep panels free from dust and dirt, but only if your panels are tilted at an angle of more than 11 degrees. Less than 11 degrees and rain won't clean them. Given the low feed-in tariff rates compared to the cost of purchasing electricity, there are options to use rather than export excess electricity production. Whilst installing batteries might seem the obvious option, it is currently not very cost effective. More cost-effective options involve rescheduling tasks to occur during the middle of the day, when your solar PV system is most likely going to be producing excess electricity. In Victoria, this is typically between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. This time window will be longer during the summer months and shorter during the winter months. Identify equipment which doesn't have to operate at specific times and shift the time that it operates. Examples could be pumping water or effluent, crushing grain, heating water or ice building. Here is a real example of load shifting. This dairy is like most dairies. The refrigeration units operate to cool milk from around 20 degrees to 4 degrees during milking. However, to cheapen the cost of cooling milk, a small chiller was installed that would operate during the day between milkings. The chiller cools water stored in an underground tank to around 3 degrees, and this cold water is used during milking to cool milk via a second plate exchanger. Milk enters the vat at around 5 degrees, leaving the refrigeration units with very little work to do. Now, the cost of cooling milk has dropped. Instead of using electricity that costs around 25 cents a kilowatt hour, it's dropped to around 7 cents a kilowatt hour. Let's summarise. On-site solar PV generated electricity is the cheapest source of energy available to any farm business. However, Maximising the value of solar PV requires some monitoring, maintenance, and a little rethinking on how and when equipment operates. Be sure to regularly check your PV system is performing as expected. Keep the panels clean and try to minimise the amount of electricity exported to the grid by shifting loads to the middle of the day when the sun is shining.